And welcome to the third episode of the Tuesday Talk IU Athletics podcast. This is Sports Information Director Andy Alvarez, along with Athletic Communications Director Larry Dielman and Student Assistant Connor Kikowski. Welcome to the show. We'll be discussing this past week in IU Athletics and the week coming ahead, and we will feature our special guest, Angelica Santini Bulerin, who made the weekly honor roll again in volleyball this week. And she joined us for a good interview. It was really nice having her. She speaks very well and, is a great player for the team this so far in her first year here in Immaculata. Getting things rolling, let's go with women's tennis. Moved to 2-0 on the season. They won their home opener on Saturday as they defeated Kane 4-3. Got started in the doubles action with in first number one doubles, Delaney Brown and Haley Elwell won their match 6-3. Elizabeth Madsen and Sophia Carey played number two doubles. Unfortunately, they fell 7-5, but in a very tightly contested match. And then in third doubles, Athena Criticson and Laura Farrow lost 6-3. So Kane carried a 1-0 lead out of the doubles competition into the singles competition. In singles, Haley Elwell won the number two singles match in straight sets, 6-2, 6-1. Sophia Carey was able to win the number three singles match, 7-5, 6-1 in straight sets there. In the number five singles, Laura Farrow earned the win in straight sets, 6-1, 6-0. And then in the number six singles match, which ended up being kind of a marathon match, Athena Criticson, who was a senior at Immaculata, but playing her first competitive tennis match. She's been a member of the tennis team for 2 years now, second year with the team. She was playing her first match that was actually, scored as part of the match in the singles level. She ended up winning in three sets to secure the win for Immaculata. She won the first set 6-3. She lost the second set 6-4. Then there ended up being a long delay as they tried to determine what was the proper protocol, whether they play a 10-point tiebreak or an actual full third set. After a while, the coaches from Kane kind of pushed that they play the full third set, and that ended up tied 6-6 and went to a tiebreaker, which is normally the 7 points. And it ended up tied 7-7 in the tiebreaker. You have to win by 2 points. Fortunately, Athena was able to, secure those 2 points and pull out the victory for her first victory, first college win in singles, and also won the victory for Immaculata, giving them a 4-3 win for the match, allowing them to, move up to 2-0 on the season. And, Athena Criticson was named the Mighty Mac of the Week this week for her play and dealing with some tough conditions with that long delay and having Kane's coach kind of hovering on top of that match was a difficult situation from her, and she did a great job playing through that. So that was a big win for the Mighty Macs this week. They'll be back on the court. They're on the court Monday, but then they'll also, have a couple more matches here in the fall before they move on to, eventually they'll come back for the spring schedule.
All right, next up is women's soccer. It was a bit of a rough week again for the women's soccer, going on the road 2 games for Kings and DeSales. So first, the Kings game. So basically, start off, we had Gracie Rapici score a goal, assisted by Lily McGee. So freshman getting the spotlight again, and Natalie D'Afonso scored her first collegiate goal. So that was a big highlight, but they ultimately fell in that game 3-2. Then they had a really tough matchup, another MAC team against DeSales on this past Saturday. Sam Terry scored the lone goal for the Muddy Macs, but the Bulldogs took control of everything there. They won that game 3-1. So obviously Emily Guthier has been a big part of keeping the Muddy Macs in women's soccer. So what do you guys think about her and where the team is right now?
Yeah, Emily Guthier is really doing a great job this year in 7 starts, 49 saves. The record obviously doesn't really tell the whole story. Emily's been doing all that she can in 121 shots faced. And this week against Kings and DeSales, she made 15 combined saves. 11 of them came against DeSales. So she's really protecting the goal, and the defense really is appreciative of her efforts.
Yes, Immaculata's got some good play out the back end too with some of their players. Sam Cedito has played every minute of the season so far this year for the Money Max back there and works very hard. Maria Granito back there, and they've been working hard. So Emily Guthier has been outstanding. Sam Terry, who's also on that back line, really does a good job at both ends of the field, and had a beautiful goal against DeSales on Saturday on a long free kick that was highlighted on the Instagram page this weekend as a real strong goal. On top of, she has, assists on a lot of she's really big on their set pieces for corner kicks, free kicks, and helping try to get offense from that. And you get a lot of players on that team that are working hard, and you see, the future is going to be bright for this team. They're young. Gracie Rapici now has, 2 goals and 3 assists, is the leading scorer for the team, and that's great to see you have your freshmen be able to step right in and into an important role for the team. So I think going forward, as they move towards conference play this week, I think this experience they're getting playing these stronger teams is going to serve them well once they get into the conference play.
And actually, this past week, we had some firsts of the season. So Lily McGee had her first assist of her career, and Natalie D'Alfonso had her first goal. Both of them came against Kings. So congrats to both of them.
Yeah, and we'll see women's soccer back at it on Wednesday at your science. They'll finish up a road trip, and then they'll finally come back home to open AEC conference play on Saturday against Centenary at Draper Walsh Stadium.
All right, so let's switch over to men's soccer. They only had the one game. The men's soccer team was up at Arcadia in Glenside, PA, a 4-0 defeat. But don't let the box score fool you here, because the first half was a scoreless tie. So the second half was kind of where things began to fall apart. But the first half, again, the Mighty Macs staying in these games with, like Andy said, some of these stronger MAC teams. Just looking at the final results, Colin Deal off the bench led the team with 2 shot attempts, and Luca Greppolini in goal made 3 saves going the full 90 minutes. Up next, they are heading to Drew. That is Tuesday, September 30th. That's up in North Jersey. And then they will also be in Jersey for Centenary to start AEC play on Saturday. So, Andy, what have you seen from men's soccer in these last couple games?
Unfortunately, said one of the problems they've been having is trying to find ways to build the offense. And, they have some opportunities, and it's just small things, little things that haven't worked out, whether it be as to, not getting a good touch, or maybe waiting a little too long to take the shot on certain occasions. But, they're in there, they have opportunities. It's just a matter of finding a way to convert on some of those opportunities, and not to get frustrated, to not get, caught out of positions and things like that sometimes lead to quick goals against. I mean, there's been one or two little things in these games that have really made a difference, and for them this season. But at times you've seen some really great play from certain players, and it's just a matter of just getting that final finish on a few of those plays that could, if they get that goal in the first half or something like that, they could completely change the outlook of a game. They've been competitive with Centenary the last few years. They've kind of gone back and forth at each other. I mean, overall, last year they won 3-0 against them. 2 years ago, they won 5-1 up there. But the year before that, they tied 1-1 in the regular season, and then ended up losing 2-1 on a late goal in the playoff game at home. So they're usually, the two teams are usually right there with each other competitive wise. And I think it's a good opportunity for them, after playing a difficult schedule, to kind of get going early in conference play with the game that they should be right there with this team and be able to compete to try to get the points, on Saturday up at Centenary.
I think a lot of it too is they just gotta trust the process. Like obviously they have strong first halves, but in the second halves they start lose their movement a little bit. So I think trusting the process is their biggest thing, and just not letting it get in their heads and just continue to keep going ahead.
All right, so moving right along, we have the women's volleyball team. A couple matches this week, including a tri match. The women picked up a win on Wednesday, the 24th, with a sweep over Cedar Crest. That was at home in our very own Alumni Hall. Unfortunately, they were at the wrong end of a sweep against Eastern for their tri match. Against Susquehanna, they went down in 4 sets, and Eastern, it was a 3-set sweep. And they have some tough opponents this week, but overall some good play this week, especially against Cedar Crest. Angelica, Santini, Bulerin, another great performance against Cedar Crest, 31 assists. That's actually her second highest total of the season. Her season high was at Moravian a few weeks ago. Just overall, again, some great play against Cedar Crest. Mia Esposito with 9 kills. Emma Hodgson had 8 kills. Adriana Ventura helping out the back line with 11 digs. They do have some tougher competition this week against Rowan and Widener. But what do you guys think overall? They're looking pretty good.
For a young team, they are really coming a long way in terms of a lot of different new players mixed in with the core of players they had back from last year. But you're getting great performances out of some of the players. Mia Esposito is going to probably this year she's on pace to top her season the career high in assists and not assists and kills for a season. She's right on pace to break that pretty quickly. So you see the older players benefiting from these younger players. You're getting great play out of Angelica, Ventura on the digs. You're seeing Emma Hodgson with more aces and other players that are really stepping up their play. And, you're going to struggle. In some games, like you look on Saturday in the first match with Susquehanna, you had, Esposito had 16 kills. Damani Myers had 12. Emma Hodgson had 8 kills. Eliana Zetkowski got 4 blocks in that match. Antonio Antolini, she had 3 blocks. In addition to Angelica getting 26 assists in that match, Adriana Blas had 12 assists. Adriana Ventura had 9 assists. So you're seeing different players contributing in different ways. And, once again, playing this tough schedule is going to really help set them up when they get in the Atlantic East Conference this year when they go up against, obviously, you're going to have really good teams in Marymount, Newman, but you're going to be competing with St. Elizabeth's, Centenary, Pratt, and Gwynedd for those last spots in the AEC tournament, try to get those fourth and fifth spots. So any experience you're getting now playing these stronger teams is really going to serve this team well as they move forward.
And another thing too is that they've really had a brutal schedule in terms of road matches. They've played about 5 games on the road. They're 1-1 on neutral sites, and they've only played 3 contests at home. So as we get into October, they're going to start getting these home matches. They have a couple double headers, not tri matches, double headers. So hopefully they can start racking up some wins as we get into conference play. Connor, what do you think?
I think with the volleyball team, one of the biggest things we saw against Cedar Crest that went on last Wednesday was how well their formation worked. Like you always see them, like when I talked to Diana Rivera after the game, they're all hyping each other up. They all work well together. It's all the younger players helping, and it helps the older players get more experience and helps them contribute more.
I think you're definitely seeing a lot more, in terms of the coaching this year that what Mary's bringing to the table for these players. She has them taking a lot of pride in playing for Immaculata, a lot of pride in, playing for each other. And you could see even some of the matches where it hasn't gone as well, they're still right there with each other. They're still supporting each other. They're fighting through it. You heard in our interview with Angelica today, what she's seeing and everything like that, and what she enjoys about the team and everything. And when you got a lot of change to your team, new coaching staff, new players, and everything, and the core that existed, it's good to see this new life coming into this team, and know that there's a lot of young players and that they're going to be here for a few years, and a chance to see this thing continue to improve again.
All right, next up, we're going to talk about field hockey. We saw field hockey for 2 games last week, one home, one on the road. First game was Alvernia, where they ultimately fell that game 5-1. But we did see Taylor Egan, a freshman, score her first collegiate goal in that game. It was nice to see. So again, more of the freshmen contributing again. That's been like one of the highlights of the week. A lot of freshman spotlights for the Athletics in times where we need it. And then they saw a big win at Cedar Crest this past Saturday with Alexis Andrade scoring 3 goals in a row for her first collegiate hat trick. So field hockey will see them for tomorrow night against Goucher. So what do you guys think as we get closer to conference play, how they're doing so far?
Yeah, field hockey has had their moments of great success. Obviously, Alexis Andrade has a lot of the scoring, and the defense has made some great plays. And Mackenzie Schrack in goal, despite being a first year, she's made her impression on these early non-conference games, and I feel like she's going to continue that as we get into conference play. Field hockey conference is a little bit smaller than the other sports we have, but still just as important. It's going to be interesting with 3 games this week. Goucher, Kane, and Oswego State. Those last 2 are back-to-back, so we'll see how they can do this week. And how many wins they can pick up. Andy, what do you think? 3 games this week, especially a back-to-back. If you're on the team or if you're one of the coaches, how are you feeling about that?
That's going to be a difficult challenge this week to play 3 games. Obviously, tomorrow you're getting a Goucher team that it should be a competitive game. It was a competitive, very competitive game last year down at their place. looking at common opponents and how they're doing, teams should be pretty comparable, so it should be a good game tomorrow night. Obviously, you have Kane, that is a NJAC team that is strong. They're now 2 years removed from a trip to the Final Four, so they'll be a formidable opponent coming in here on Thursday. Kind of a wild card to us because we don't haven't necessarily played a whole lot of common opponents. Is Oswego State, so it's a new opposition for us here at Immaculata, which should be interesting to see how that goes. But it's also, you're playing back-to-back days and everything along that lines. That'll be a Friday 4 o'clock game, so interesting to see how a team responds to playing that game. They had a good weekend, good game on Saturday. I mean, it remained scoreless at halftime, though Immaculata had pretty much dominated the play in the first half. Cedar Crest did get a shot on goal in the first half on back-to-back, well, the second of a back-to-back penalty corner situation, and Mackenzie Schrack was able to make the save, and then they got a block shot and got it out of there. And it was only going to be a matter of time as if you watch the broadcast a little bit or watching the live stream till they found a way to find the back end, and then they were able to get the 3 goals from Alexis Andrada with Morgan Barnes and Maria Freeman picking up assists on that play. So that was good to see those players have really strong games as well as Alexis. And once again, you're getting great play out of your midfielders from midfielders and defenders like get Abby Fekete, Kayla Ledbetter, Julian Vandenbroek. On the back end, you got Rachel Madden's been huge for the team on that back end, really helping clear that area out. And you have players coming in off the bench and making great contributions. And you're seeing other freshmen like Taylor Egan, who began the season kind of more as a bench player, is stepping up more into a starting role now and is becoming more and more involved in the play every week. So that's a great sign for Immaculata, to have these young players starting to take those roles that Coach Stopford's going to need them to take as they get into conference play. It's only 5 teams in field hockey in the Atlantic East Conference, so 4 are going to make the playoffs. You're seeing in the conference, Marywood, the defending champs, are going to be strong. Newman has really shown that through their non-conference schedule, they're going to be a strong, formidable opponent. Obviously, we always play tight games with Gwinnett and don't really know much about Manhattanville just because we don't see them outside of the sport of field hockey very often. So it's hard to get a gauge as to, how they're going to be. So it's going to be a battle for each one of those 4 playoff spots. So every conference game really matters, and every win you can get is going to make the difference. So them getting started with that, once they get to conference play, getting through these next couple of weeks of these tough non-conference opponents, hopefully will serve them well as they get into that conference play. Looking ahead to this week, we've talked about some of the other sports and what they're playing. We'll check here with Connor when I finish talking a little bit as we cross country will make their reappearance on the scene this week as they will go up to Langhorne, Pennsylvania to participate in the Highlander Invitational hosted by Cairn University. It's been a couple years since Immaculata competed in this event, and I know the runners will be anxious to get back out on the on the course to run a little bit and try to start getting their bodies back into competition mode as they approach the stretch run in cross country, which is obviously they have their big race coming up, the Rowan Interregional Border Battle, which attracts runners from all over the region, top runners in the region. And you get, top D3, you get some D2, mix in some local D1, sometimes mix into that event as well. Then it's AEC championships and then the regionals. So Connor, what are you looking to see from the team this week in this competition?
Yeah, so cross country is back from our hiatus. We took a month break just to do some training. Like we had Sam here last week to talk about it. Not gonna lie, it's been a little brutal, but we're here. So you'll hear from us pretty much every other week now. We're back at Karen, like Andy said. We haven't been there since I was a freshman, so 3 years ago. We actually won that race. Hopefully we can repeat again. It's got good competition. Lancaster Bible, Karen, other schools, if they're all still there. It's been a while since we've been there again. And then we'll head down to the Boar Battle on the 18th of October. That race is always competitive. It's a fast course, a lot of good schools. Obviously, NJAC, MAC, they all go there. Everyone wants to run that course. And we'll also be there back in November for regionals. And then the AAC championships, which will be back up in New York, hosted by Pratt. So yeah, the competitiveness is now on for cross country. We're in our part of our season now. When you get in October, everything up until this point has been like just getting the groove in, getting everybody going. But now we're in the midst of it, so hopefully we get some good results this weekend.
You think you'll see anybody you think you'll see some PRs this week and maybe possibly a program record set possibly maybe or
I would say Aubrey probably has a really good shot at setting a program record. She's never ran this course before, but judging from the last time I ran it, it's flat, but it can get messy, especially if there's bad weather involved. It's a lot of woods. Can be a lot of mud. I remember my freshman year, we were all covered in mud after because of course it rained the night before. Hopefully that doesn't happen this time. But yeah, Aubrey and Sam definitely can be competitive in this race. Hopefully you'll see another school record breaking and we'll post a nice little graphic for that.
I like how our teams are just really being competitive again, despite some of our tougher opponents we've faced. We're getting almost to conference play, so hopefully we can start seeing the results pay off with the hard work and be right in the middle of all of our conference races.
I think we're due for some wins. Had a little bit of a tough stretch here, but I think we're due for something good this week. I have a good feeling. And obviously once we get, not for field hockey, obviously, but once we get to Saturday for soccer, we're in conference play. So it's going to be exciting. Hopefully we can post some win graphics.
Connor, I got some good news for you. So Saturday, up in Langhorne, it's going to be 80 and sunny.
Okay.
So you should be good.
Okay. I'll live.
Yeah, I do agree. I think the hard work our teams have been putting in these tough schedules, hopefully is going to really translate to some success coming up as they're getting more acclimated to college for the younger players, and our teams are learning to kind of work together. I think that's the hardest part when you get a lot of new players. They try to do the same things that made them successful in their club and college careers, and it doesn't always translate to the collegiate game. And it's a lot of more of a team game, and getting all those pieces together to play together is important. And I think once they start to figure that out, and as the season goes along, you start to see it happening more and often. That's when, success is going to come.
Stay tuned for our interview with Angelica Santini Bulerin and see about her life, not only as she started her collegiate career, but also her life back in Puerto Rico.
And welcome back to the Tuesday Talk podcast. We are joined by our guest, Angelica Santini Bulerin from the women's volleyball team. Welcome to the show, Angelica.
Thank you for having me.
You've had a really good start so far to your career here at Immaculata. Being a first-year player, how has your transition to college and life away from home been?
It's been really fun to adjust and everything. Home is really far away right now. I miss my family and everything, but the group of people here are really nice and they make sure that I'm feeling comfortable with every single thing. And it's kind of been hard, but it's been fun and entertaining learning every week about things, how they do it here and different things from back home and everything.
So you're obviously from Puerto Rico. So does having any other players from Puerto Rico help with the adjustment, like you were saying?
Yeah, it definitely does. It brings me closer to home and I don't get homesick that strong. And my roommate is also from Puerto Rico too. So I speak Spanish with her and it makes me feel closer to home just having people from Puerto Rico and knowing that I'm not completely alone from where I come from. So it brings me a sense of peace, to put it that way.
So, how did you get recruited to play at Immaculata in the first place? Obviously, the volleyball team under new head coach Mary Kirshner. So, what was the recruiting process like for you?
It was hard at first because I didn't know what to do, where to go. And my parents were talking with this recruiter. He just put me on this website called Field Level, and that's how I found Immaculata because also coaches could post if they needed a player or they were looking for a specific position or something. And I saw that Immaculata had setter needed for this next year. And I texted the coach. And after that, Mary and me just talked a lot. And she told me we're rebuilding and she was also coming back. She studied here and she started talking to my parents too. And we clicked really quick. and she was really calm during the whole process. She really wanted me here, and I could feel that. So I felt pretty wanted and loved and cared too, because during the whole process, she was making sure that I was comfortable, that my parents were also comfortable. She was looking for every possible way to bring me here, and she met with my parents. Then I came on acceptance students day, and that's when I met her for the first time. And we had dinner and we just talked in person, and I definitely knew I wanted to be here after that.
What do you enjoy most about being a member of the Immaculata volleyball team?
What I enjoy most would be the friendships, because I'm a little shy sometimes, so I thought I wouldn't make friends that quick. And getting here and becoming the freshmen were like really close. The team is really close too, but like freshmen, we have that connection since we're freshmen. And we are really close. We clicked off really quick and we just built a really good friendship and group of support. So I really appreciate that we kind of like have each other's back, and the friendships with the upperclassmen and sophomores and every single person has been like pretty important to me, because they show me new things every single day and I just keep learning from them and getting to know them better.
This question I'm actually very interested in. So, how is volleyball different there from playing here? Have you noticed any big differences in training or playing styles? Like, what is the biggest difference you think you see?
I mostly don't notice the difference because I'm just like super focused when I'm playing. But one thing that it's not bad, but like back home, there was like a lot of pressure from the bench, like the parents and other people. So like I kind of like grew up learning to like block that out. And coming here, it's also like a lot of pressure, but it's not bad. I like having pressure on myself to like make myself better at the game. But here, I feel it in more a positive way, because back home it was really positive too, but sometimes it could get like really messy. And here I haven't had that experience, so and I hope I don't have it. I really like that because it's like focus on the team and what can you do better and continue pushing through and being the best version you can be on the court.
How did you get started with volleyball back in Puerto Rico? Like maybe when you were really young, like what made you fall in love with the sport? Kind of tell us your background with that.
Well, it all started because of my dad. When I was little, I used to do swimming, and then he also played volleyball back in his high school, but he couldn't continue. And we had like a volleyball court, and they were doing tryouts. It was like we walked there because it was like 5 minutes walking, and he was like, "Okay, we're gonna do that, and if you like it, you'll keep doing it." My sister also tried it out. She's 4 years older than me, and she tried it out when she was my age. At that point, I was 4 years old at that moment, but they couldn't get her to play any sports, so they just gave up on that. They left her at ballet and they put me in the tryouts. I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I kind of liked it, so I just kept doing it. And when I got into it, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like this is the extracurricular activity I want to be doing. This is the sport I see myself playing. So my dad kept like pushing me to go to practice. I got into the team and I spent 13 years playing at that club. I never changed clubs. I was really close to my coaches, the staff there. It was pretty, it was family right there. And I just like loved playing there. I played there since 4 years old, so I didn't see myself anywhere else.
Do you get a chance to share your culture from Puerto Rico with your team at all? And are you looking forward to doing that more?
Well, I really look forward to like the food. It's something I really miss from back home. And I really want like my teammates to know our culture, our traditions and everything. Like we have mofongo, which is like really good and I miss it so much. And I have a friend that has like a restaurant in here, but it's like an hour away, so I'm like maybe I'll go there one time, but I really want them to come to Puerto Rico to like get to know the beaches, the traditions, the festivals, the food, every single little thing that makes Puerto Rico such a familiar and pretty place.
Kind of one final thing. Do you see yourself beyond college, maybe coaching someday in volleyball?
That would definitely be really fun. Like when our coach couldn't make it at high school, I sometimes coach or just assistant coach, and I really enjoyed it because I could see everything and I could like say my point of view and be like, hey, so maybe try to fix this, try to fix that. And it's like really nice to give my output and my knowledge to another player. So I think maybe I'll do that. I don't know.
We've really enjoyed having you join us here today, Angelica, and we wish you continued success. I know you guys have some big matches this week coming up with Rowan, Widener, and then a tri match this weekend. And we look forward to seeing continued success and growth for you and the team this season. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We really hope that we win this week, the whole week. We're hoping to that.
Well, it's been another good week. Glad to work with you guys again. It was a good show, and hope you all enjoyed it. And we had a good interview, and we hope to see you next time on the Tuesday Talk IU Athletic Podcast. Have a good day.